Hey guys, this is mongolrainbows with my first ever video commentary. And in this game we're going to have TTD as Red Terran at the 9 o'clock position on Lost Temple versus Bui as Blue Protoss at the 6 o'clock. So before everything gets underway, I'd like to give a big shout out to Last Card or Last Carde for giving me this really cool replay. And also for just being generally a really good poster on r/Starcraft and everywhere else. So Last Credit, you are a cool bro. Keep being a cool bro, please. Bui is doing some really standard stuff right here. He's getting his piling up, and it looks like he's sending out his first probe to scout. TTD, in the meantime, is beginning to get a supply depot up on his ramp, so he's going to go for a nice and standard wall. And he is continuing to crank SCVs. This is incredibly exciting so far. Looks like Bui is going to scout in the correct direction, so he's going to get a pretty good idea that TTD is not up to any cheese or anything. It doesn't look like there's going to be any cheese for either player, so this is going to be a really nice long macro game with some interesting stuff going on, and not just a really fast, bunker rush or anything. So you guys get to listen to me for quite some time, which is a good thing. Bui is going to take the Zel Naga watchtower with that probe. Not really sure how much good that's going to do him at this point in the game. In the meantime, TTD is getting up his first barracks at his choke, at his ramp. The choke is the thing a little bit farther off. And Bui is getting his gateway up in such a manner that he's going to be able to block his ramp with a very small number of zealots. And it looks like he's getting his gas right now, which means that we're probably going to see a robotics opening out of him. He's currently boosting his Nexus to get some probes out a little bit faster than his poor Terran opponent, who did not have cool abilities like that until he gets an orbital command. And then he has this awesome ability that creates these little mules that just mow down those mineral patches really fast, so you have to expand, which is kind of cool, I guess. TTD is bunkering up at his, at this little patch of land overlooking the choke to his natural right now, so it looks like he's just going to settle down for a nice defensive game. And he's getting an orbital command and his first Marine as we speak. In the meantime, Bui is not actually building a cybercore yet. So there's something interesting going on here. It seems. Or he's just really lit in the cybercore. Kinda hope there's something interesting going on. And he is getting out that first zealot, and it looks like he's building a secret nexus at 12 o'clock. Going for a really early expansion that's going to be tricky to defend, but on the other hand, if he's lucky, TTD won't scout that for a while, so he's going to get a whole bunch of those little blue mineral things and that green gas stuff out of there to hopefully put him nicely ahead. And he is getting up a cybercore now, still on gas. He's probably still going robo, and I'm just going to keep doing that until he does something else and proves me completely wrong. He is moving to block this little area here with a zealot and sending Mr. Proby back to mine. TTD's bunker is going to take out Bui's scouting probe, so Bui doesn't really know a whole heck of a lot. On the other hand, he does have a little bit... on the other hand, he does have a little bit of vision on that bunker there, so... if I remember what the hotkeys are. So he knows that TTD is just sitting back and relaxing for a defensive game, so he knows that he can be safe for a little bit and tech up without too much worry. He's currently boosting both warp gates and a sentry off of this gateway. So he's gonna have a nice unit mix soon, hopefully. And TTD is building another bunker at his choke. It looks like he's gonna go for a relatively fast expansion of some kind. Kind of medium-ish. A medium-ish expansion of some kind. Not really that fast. But he is going to be matching Bui's secret second in terms of mining soon. Probably sooner than you might think, because he's going to have a second orbital command, and he's also going to be able to transfer probes from his main, which Bui did not have a chance to do. And that command center is almost done building in his main. He's just going to be able to float that over nicely, like the little floaty building it is. Those rockets must be putting out so much thrust to be able to lift that big, meaty 1500 HP building. Gotta wonder what kind of fuel they're running. TTD is continuing to produce marauders off of a single bunker. It looks like he's... off of the single barracks. It looks like he's adding a second one. And continuing to produce a bunch of supply depots. and he is going to get a really fast orbital command off of the second command center, and that's going to give him a lot of resources in the long run. In the meantime, Bui is putting a bunch of pylons on the side of his islandy looking thing where his main is, on the side of the main, to give him nice early warning about drops. Toss don't get a sense of tower, so they have to kind of be creative with pylons, which is good because they get really nice vision, and it's also bad because they have to spend a whole bunch of minerals and put their food-producing structures at risk in order to get the same nice benefits that Terran do with sensor towers. TTD is putting up a couple of missile turrets to ward off. I'm not really sure what he's warding off because he's putting them at interesting places. It does look like that missile turret is going to get some vision of that observer right there, and that's taken down to 12 health. So very interesting position for that observer to be in. I would be kind of scared right now. He's building another missile turret a little bit closer to his natural, but the observer doesn't really care about the natural. There's nothing interesting going on there. He wants to see what kind of units TTD is building, and it looks like it's going to get a very nice picture of a refinery. But if he moves it down, he's going to get a very nice picture of what's going on. Pretty standard medic, marauder, marine, medivac thing, except without the medics or the medivacs, just marine marauder. Which, you know, it's okay. It's interesting. It's a little less mobile, and you don't get healing, but on the other hand, you get a whole bunch more heating power because you get to spend all those minerals and gas that you otherwise would have spent on the medivacs on more marauders, which is always awesome because marauders are very mainly men. This observer is still doing nice, and oh, TTD coming in with a Colossus straight onto the worker line, and he's going to be able to force TTD. Bui's coming in with Colossus. I'm sorry, TTD obviously doesn't have a Colossus. Bui he's got 7 worker kills already on that Colossus. That's very impressive. That's a whole bunch of harassment. And he's also denied TTD from doing a whole bunch of mining. TTD is getting up a tech lab on this factory. He's probably going to produce tanks, or possibly Thors, or possibly Hellions if he really wants to. And this Colossus is coming right back off this cliff. It's really abusing the fact that it can walk up and down, sniping a couple of Marines, and going after this Marauder. This Marauder isn't really going to be able to do a whole bunch of damage to this Colossus, except it is because it does 20-something damage a shot, because the Colossus is an armored unit. Bui is taking out that SCV. SCV is really trying to be a hero there, and not doing a whole bunch to that Colossus, but getting himself killed. Bui, on the other hand, is also floating a whole bunch of minerals, and both players are even on bases. So, kind of curious to see what kind of a unit advantage he has. TTD has 8 Marauders and 2 Marines to Bui's 2 Colossus, 2 Zealots, and 4 Stalkers, and 1 Sentry. And they're kind of even-ish on probes. I'm just going to say even-ish, because, you know, Sensor Tower coming up for TTD right here. That's going to give him nice early warning about these Colossus coming up his cliff, but they're coming up right now before the Sensor Tower comes up, so he's got no idea what's coming. These Colossus are going to do a whole bunch of damage to these Marauders, and they have the potential to outrange them. I'm really worried about that Colossus on the cliff right there. Marauders still do a whole bunch of damage. Kind of curious how Bui has vision up there, because his observer is way up there. Observer's vision is probably a lot bigger than I'm giving him credit for. And 3 Marauders coming down to deal with these Colossus. Colossus, no HP, Colossus going down, and the second Colossus is going down as well. Nicely done by TTD there with those awesome 22 damage versus Colossus units right there. I'm going to finally be able to stop that harass. On the other hand, it looks like he's up to very nice SCV saturation at both his main and his natural, so that initial harass, the effect of it is completely worn off. And Bui's still floating Bui has Bui has a bunch of warp gates up, so he's going to be able to chew through any excess minerals he produces quicker than I can call him out on it. It looks like TTD has siege mode research, and he's producing a couple of tanks, and these tanks are going to do a very nice job against this Colossus harass. Colossus awesome. Colossus walk up cliffs and rape everything in TTD's base thing that TTD has been doing. Some more missile turrets coming up, but still not catching sight of that observer, which is bad, because Bui still has a very good idea of what's going on in TTD's base. And he knows that he's still getting Marauders and tanks, so he can get a nice blinky Stalker and Colossus army to deal with those combined threats. TTD has done a fair amount of damage to the